on. Hey, it's wonderful to meet you, sir. Thank you for taking a minute out today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So let's begin our journey into your work by asking you this. 5 years ago, this pandemic was changing everything worldwide for all of us. How did you make it through the pandemic of 2020, and how is it radiated into your world in 2025?
So 2020, probably the biggest change for me was I got in tune with my body clock. Like I figured out how much exercise and movement I need every day because I was just sitting at home. I didn't have to go anywhere like I normally did. So I just started walking more and moving more. And what I realized is I need like 2 to 3 hours of movement a day to feel good.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting anywhere close to that before then. And how that's radiated into my life is first of all, I've continued to do that. And it's also shown me people don't move nearly as much as we need to. We're on the schedule like, oh, I exercise 3 to 4 times a week, 45 minutes, whatever. That's scratching the surface. Like if people actually moved, and by moving, I mean just like take a walk. It doesn't have to be jujitsu or training for a marathon. Just have a consistent walking habit or movement habit. If people did that, they would have far fewer health issues. They wouldn't need special diets, like big pharma wouldn't be getting as rich as they are off of us, all this kind of stuff.
It is weird how it is really about the simple things when it comes to that, you know? I mean, like for instance, I make it a point every day to do push-ups and sit-ups. I don't need a gym. I don't need anything else other than a floor, right? And
Yeah.
and just the will to do it. Or to get out and walk and to do things, and you get people that get to this point in their lives where it's gone too far and they really have to make drastic measures. But yeah, I mean, all these things when it comes to exercise and mental health, it can be simple by doing that, by just walking around your neighborhood. I mean, the Bay Area has probably got all kinds of beautiful areas that you can walk to and makes it
Yeah.
easy, you know?
Bay Area is gorgeous and the weather's nice all year
Yeah.
round. You can
Yeah,
be outside all year round.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's get to the heart and soul of what you do on a daily basis here in 2025. I'm going to
Yeah.
put you in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds. It's career day. The kid in the back of the room that's always curious is like, hey, what do you do for a living? What's your answer?
So I have multiple businesses. I have a commercial real estate finance business and I'm a professional life coach. And what I want to talk about here more than anything is the life coaching. I focus on men, mostly in their, middle ages, maybe 40s and 50s. It can be any age, but really I'm just about helping men get on purpose and get motivated in their lives. So that's basically what I do.
So what did you want to be at 12 years old? What was your dream gig?
Probably wanted to, play for the 49ers or some other football team. I think it changed with the seasons. I wanted to be a baseball star, a basketball star, a hockey star, whatever.
So
So
did you play sports growing up?
I did, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, so let me ask you this. As an entrepreneur, as a life coach, all of these skills that you have right now, take me back to your childhood. What were these foundational elements, the seeds that were planted that eventually were harvested into who you are today?
Yeah, good question. Uh, well, I think part of it, my parents, so I was born in the Soviet Union, and my parents kind of were, very traditional professionally. Both my parents worked. My dad was a physicist. They were anything but entrepreneurial. My dad actually tried to be an entrepreneur, but he had like this love-hate relationship with money. Like on the one hand, he wanted to be rich. On the other hand, he hated rich people because he thought they were all thieves. Probably, dating back to his Soviet days. So he couldn't get rich because he had this mental block, like this limiting belief against it. And that's something that I've, worked with uh, in my life as well. And so a lot of what I do in coaching is helping people realize their own limiting beliefs, their own mental blocks that they're probably not aware of. We all have them, and they keep us from doing the things that we want to do.
So When did you decide that life coaching was the route that you're going down? When did you have a moment? Had you been thinking about it for a while? How did this actually come to be?
I had done work like the Landmark Forum. I don't know if you ever heard of that and stuff like that, like personal development work. And I was always attracted to those types of places where people facilitated other people's progress. So, and I always liked it. I was always good at it or interested in it, and I wanted to do more of it. I didn't know exactly how to do it. And then woman that I used to be in a relationship with um, is a life coach, and she started a life coaching school, and I was part of her first class, and became certified as a life coach, and that was about 5 years ago.
So there's always those moments when you find the career path that you're in where it makes sense. Did you have that moment with the client, first client, second client, or any of them? When did you know that this was a gift that you had, that you could do this well?
I think I knew right from the start. Like it fulfilled a part of me spiritually that nothing else does. And yeah, I mean, when I work with clients, I have a client now that I've been working with for over 6 months and really helping him get to the truth about who he is. And that's kind of really what my focus is helping people get to their authenticity and their true self. I mean, yeah, no, I would say every session I have, I sign off and I'm like, that was what I was meant to be doing.
So I think getting into life coaching and different avenues like that is almost like therapy. Like, when do people need to recognize that this is the route they need to go down? They need a life coach, they need help, especially in the age and demographic you're going after. What are the telltale signs for them to reach out and to ask questions and to pursue it further?
Yeah. Well, everybody should have a coach of some sort. Not everybody needs therapy per se. I actually see a therapist and he's very coach-like. I mean, today the lines between coaching and therapy are less well defined. I think the best therapists kind of are more like coaches
Yeah.
rather than old school therapists. Lie down on this couch. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with you. And coaching is not that. Coaching is, a partnership, not one person telling the other person what is wrong with them. But certainly if you feel stuck in any area, if you don't have a coach or a therapist of some kind, I mean, the ironic thing is a lot of people who uh, are are going to have coaches already have coaches, meaning like they're the types of people who look for help anyway. A lot of the people who need the coaches the most are the types of people who don't look for help, and so they might not be open to coaching.
Yeah.
If you're stuck in any way, if you're uh, questioning your purpose in life or feel like you don't have a purpose in life, if just some part of your life is not going the way you want it to, but you don't know how to make an adjustment, a lot of times it really just takes like a 2% adjustment in our perspective or in our trajectory to make a huge difference. It's not like you have to wholesale change your whole life.
So when you look at all of your clients collectively, what's the number one thing, the silver lining of what they need to get over first and foremost before they can move on?
I mean, the silver lining is that a lot of my clients are really talented, accomplished people. And then the thing that they need to get over really is they feel like they have all the time in the world and they don't. We're all dying, and I kind of had this realization when I hit midlife, like 40, like holy cow, like I've wasted so much time by not going after the things I really wanted in life and telling myself, oh, I'll get there someday. Someday is now, right? And I feel like the 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 conversion of thought into action is really the most important thing. Like if you look at the most successful people in life, they're the ones that are the best at converting thought into action. And the better they are at that, the more successful that they're going to be. And usually, what's standing in between thought and action is a bunch of like scar tissue from trauma, right? And so, the more of that scar tissue we can remove, the more quickly and seamlessly we can move from thoughts into action. And that's self-actualization.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Who's been your hero? Who's been an inspirational force for you to find your footing, to find your voice in life?
I mean, there's a number of people. Certainly, that woman that I told you about,
Yeah.
who really changed my life. There's actually another coach I'm working with now in New York City who's become a mentor to me, and so doing more stuff with him. There's a guy named Dave Meltzer, who's actually a pretty well-known social media personality and entrepreneur who has given me a lot of inspiration. My therapist, quite frankly, is an awesome guy, and really like the work that we do has made a huge difference in my life. So it's not like so much hugely famous people, and all of those people are people who I didn't know them 20 years ago. Those are all people that have been in my life, really in the last decade or less, um, and just are people who are helping me, remove that scar tissue between thought and action and connect to my authentic self, which is what I try to do for other people.
So you had mentioned something kind of key about someone take people that are really good about taking thoughts and making them into action. Of everybody that exists out there in the world, who do you admire that's really effective at doing that?
I mean, if you just like, Jeff, I don't know if I admire him, but like a Jeff Bezos,
Yeah,
right? Or Elon Musk, or, I mean, Donald Trump, quite frankly, although I don't really always like the way he does it, but I mean, just if you look at just the most successful people, they have the fewest probably filters between having like an inspired thought and going out and making it happen, or they're just the best at getting through those filters. But again, like Elon Musk, he seems like a pretty tortured person. So, he's probably just figured out a way, despite his demons, to, make all that stuff happen. But really, I wouldn't put him up as like the prototype of the type of person I want to be.
sure.
It would probably be like a mix between the Dalai Lama. I mean, the Dalai Lama probably is the most enlightened person in the world, right? He
Yeah,
probably has the least psychological or emotional scar tissue between himself and reality, how he lives his everyday life. So I would probably say him.
yeah,
You don't see him in the public eye as much, but it's really about removing those scar tissues and like letting the universe come to you,
yeah,
as opposed to like going out and I mean, you do have to go out and make things happen, but it's not like this grinding, like muscle flexing difficult thing. There are ways in which you have to grind, and meaning like do stuff every day and be consistent, but it's about attraction as much as anything. And like the universe has its energy. And if we're aligned with the universe, that energy is flowing through us. And the cleaner we are, the more easily it flows through us. And the more the stuff that's coming our way, comes our way. And all of we go through traumas in our life as kids or whatever, and we build up these defenses, and all those defenses block that energy.
yeah.
And so we're our own worst enemy as far as keeping things that we want from coming to us. So it's as much about cleaning that stuff out of our mind and of our heart so that the stuff can come to us like a, like a river coming, coming our way, and we're just getting the debris out of the way so the water can kind of flow through us.
Well said. So, what's your view on balance? When you wake up every day, how do you take care of your soul, keep yourself healthy, yet help your clients? What is that overarching philosophy for you every day?
Yeah, it really isn't so much about balance. Balance is a popular word, and I don't know. I suppose it has a place. My my goal is authenticity and being aligned with myself, whatever that looks like in a particular day. That might look like having a chill day. That might look like, working super hard and or doing 20 things. But I have certain routines. So like no day of mine is completely random. I think it's really important to have regimens that you accomplish every day, from, saying a prayer to things I say to myself in the mirror to turning the water to cold at the end of every shower to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I have, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 things that I do every day that are little things that aren't automatic. They take effort, uh, and they're wins. And just accomplishing those things are wins. And that kind of sets, even if nothing else happens during the day, I've accomplished those things. That's like the skeleton of my day. And I think that's really important. Um, and doing those every day, being consistent. I heard a quote recently that I think is absolutely true. Like, um, every extraordinary person I've met is something. It was like nauseatingly consistent or something like that. Like I just think consistency is the magic pill of life. Like Warren Buffett said, compounding is the most amazing force in the universe. Well, compounding and consistency are the same thing. In
Yeah.
order to accomplish compounding, you need to be consistent. If you can master consistency, you can accomplish, so many things. And without it, you pretty much can't accomplish anything.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight, ran into the 18-year-old version of you, you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on this life you've led, the wisdom you've accumulated. What advice would you impart?
Get your head out of your ass. Honestly, I would say start being nice to people. Just start treating people, as well as possible. That's probably the biggest piece of advice I would give him, more than anything else,
Yeah.
because I wasn't good at that when I was younger. I was very selfish and focused on myself and didn't treat people the way that I wish I had. So that would probably be the first piece of advice. And then the other piece of advice would be like everything you're scared of, go after it now.
Yeah.
Because I was also I was very scared of life, and I hid from a lot of things that I wish I hadn't hidden from.
So the one thing about life, and especially getting to a better place and overcoming being stuck, is risk. When you look at the timeline of your life, what's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
The biggest good risk I've ever taken was allowing myself to get into a relationship with this woman, moving to California, because up until 8 years ago, I was living on the East Coast. I probably should have moved out here a lot longer, a lot earlier, and a lot longer. Um, yeah, just kind of, I, I had like this, I don't know, transformation moment where I met her, and then got into a relationship with her. I was on medication for depression at the time. I was taking like Adderall, all this stuff, and eventually ended up getting off of that. Essentially, like all at once, I moved to California, you know, committed to being in a relationship with her, got off medication, started my own business, basically just jumped into the deep water all at once, because up until that point, I had really hidden from all these risks, all these things that I really wanted to do. I was just scared.
Yeah.
And so, I remember feeling behind and feeling like this is my chance to catch up, like to become the person I always wanted to be. And so I'm just going to jump into the deep water and hopefully I learn to swim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that was it.
So when you look back on your life, everything that you've done and more importantly evolved to, what are you the proudest of?
I didn't quit,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, like for a lot of my life I was very unhappy and I had bad thoughts running through my head and all this kind of stuff. And I kept looking for the win. Like I never fully gave up my hope in life.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, everyone that you work with, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm someone who is committed to fulfilling my potential in life. Um, I don't quit. I'm a good person. Uh, at the end of the day, I do the right thing, and yeah, just I'm totally committed to giving as much to this life as I can, and getting as much out of it as I can, getting as much out of myself as I can.
So that's a perfect way to pass the baton here. If anyone needs to reach out, they're curious, they want something new, they're looking for a life coach, how do they reach out? Any of the good business?
Forwardmotioncoach.ing is the coaching website. You can find me on my YouTube channel at Maxim Shapiro, MaximShapiro. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook under the same name. But if you want coaching, forwardmotioncoach.ing.
And I will put that in the show notes. Maxim, this has been wonderful, man. Thank you so much for your story. Best of luck with everything. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's great to speak.
Thank you, man.
Looking to get new clients to your business through cold calling or email marketing? At Agency Y, they envision a world in which small and big companies have equal chances to win new customers in the market. Their purpose is to bring parity and reduce the gap between large and small firms with the help of their cold calling and cold email marketing services. Use the code Joe Dimino 10 at www.agencyyy.org/coldcallingjoe.php or www.agencyyy.org/emailmarketing Joe.php to get 10% off your first order. This is Joe Dimino of Neon Jazz and Famous Interviews, and I stand behind Agency Y to meet your business dreams.